Hi everyone, it's Karen here today. I put a question on Facebook about what would be a good topic that you guys would want me to talk about. And I got a response that to talk about YouTube videos or videos, recording video tutorials, how to make them, what to use, and basically everything related to video tutorials. Um, I've made a few of them over the years. I'm not expert by any means, but I just can give you my experience, my ideas, and please feel free that if you have any input of anything that I've forgotten to say, because sometimes I do forget, although I now started to write things down. If you have forgotten anything to say, please comment, because that really helps other people to basically learn from everybody. So if you have any input that I didn't say or any ideas or good suggestions, please share them because it's really important that to help everybody. So I'm just gonna get started. I do have like my notes in front of me kind of so I could kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do. So I just want to talk first about camera setup. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to record facing forward. I see sometimes when people are recording backwards, and that's really hard for somebody who's a beginner to see videos, or even for anybody to learn. It's usually the eye sees things better. So if you are buying a webcam or any type of camera, the tripod is a good way to kind of twist things around and kind of face them the right way, and by placing the whatever is holding the camera in a place that will help you have it filming the straight, I mean, for facing forward. Now you're going to attach the camera to different things. Many things work, and you just do whatever is work for you and whatever is good for your space. If you need things that are movable or things that are stationary, some people have built arms sticking out of their walls or their tables. What I did is I took a desk lamp that attaches, it used to be attached to my table, now it's attached to a shelf in front of me, and basically it's movable, like one of those like movable arms it has. And then I attached a bendable tripod onto the top of the lamp. The lamp does not have a light or anything in it. It's just for it's just being used to kind of have that mobile camera that I could like bring it up and down in different directions. I will post a picture of that as well so you guys can see. I've had people like I know a couple of friends have used like microphone stands that can move back and forth, up and down. And again, you can attach a tripod to that. You could put just a stationary tripod in front of you, so that works as well. You can build, as I said, an arm. Basically, anything works as long as you have it facing on top of your working area, and it best if it's adjustable, something that you can move around and you can have it. You can basically do something with it and you don't have to how do you call this, like you can adjust it, the height or the level on which it goes. The second thing I want to talk about is the types of cameras that you can work with. You just need something that records, obviously, movies. And the thing I use a webcam, a Logitech webcam, but it can be any type of webcam. That actually you need a twistable webcam. It cannot be just any webcam. You should have to look to make sure that you can twist kind of the arm, so you can. Sorry, so it would help you. Like turn it there so you can film in the right way. My webcam is connected directly to my computer, so what is great about that is that, number one, I can see what I'm recording. So as I'm recording, I can see to make sure that I'm not off screen, that I stay inside the screen at all times. And second, what it helps with is that I can record, the recording goes directly into my computer, so I don't have to do any transfers. It just records, and I can record in pieces or you can record all at once. And it's great to doing live streams, Ustream shows, which is what I also do. So it really helps that way. So I use a webcam, a digital HD webcam, but I know people that use regular cameras, and they attach them to the tripod, then they take them off and they download the videos onto their into their computer and for editing. It is best that if you are doing I used to do it with my small camera, my handheld camera, but if you are doing with that, the best idea is to have a camera that you could actually see the screen, so to make sure that you're staying within the screen and that you're not basically getting off screen, because then people won't be able to see what you're filming and what you're showing. The third thing that I know people have used is a phone camera, like an iPhone or any type of phone, Samsung, I don't know. Like, I just know that people have done this. I'm not sure about this one too much, and maybe somebody can help that have done this before. But I think you can either, I guess, download the movies onto your computer, or maybe you can connect it directly. I'm not sure if that's possible. I'm guessing it is. And you can, and then basically transfer it to your computer, or there are some editing programs in the actual phone where you could like edit the video and put it directly onto YouTube or Vimeo. That's not my particular choice, just because it's really hard to edit something in such a small screen, but I know many people that do it. So if that's what you have, just learn how to use it, and that's pretty good. In terms of software or how to edit things, once you have your videos, so what do? There's different. So I use a Macintosh, so I use iMovie. There is in Windows, there's Windows Movie Maker. Those are the ones that come for free with the computers. However, there are many people that pay for different movie maker editing software programs that are quite expensive, but they do really cool features and are really good. So if you are getting into it at the beginning, maybe you can start with the free software. But as if it's something that you really want to do as a job, or want to do it in a much better quality, then I do suggest to look into some more better editing programs. But the iMovie has worked really well for me. I did start with before I got the Mac, I used to have a window, like a Microsoft computer, and that one worked really well as well. So the Movie Maker, so I really didn't have any issues with either one. But again, for beginners, it's best to start with that and play around with the settings. Once you're doing the editing, play around and learn the program, try with different movies. And if you don't know something, Google it, or search it. As any search engine has, there's so many helpful videos out there. So if you don't know, you literally type into Google, into any search engine you have, and it teaches you how to use these different softwares. Um, Once you're recording, so this is really important. So what to do once you're starting to record. So first, very important, keep your area clean. You want to make sure the background, everything is decluttered and it's pleasing to the eye. You don't want to see a million things on your desk. It's really hard. I mean, you can, but I find it easier when I see videos that you're just seeing the project and you don't see all the cluttering around it. Bright lighting, really, really important. You should have a bright light right above the project. Not too bright that it makes it all too highlighted and too white, but bright enough that people can see see things in focus, and it's not like a gray haze on top of it. The way I do recordings, that I record things in pieces, so I do each separate step, a separate step separately. So I do, for example, I put gesso, that will be one step. Then I spray, that's another step. And each one of these steps is recorded separately. And then I upload all the videos, or the videos go directly onto my computer, and then I add them directly onto iMovie. And what I do is I put these transition windows in between each step, so then it looks like it all flows. I find that you could record all at once, and some people do that. And I do that when I do a Ustream, like the live shows. But when I'm doing it behind the scenes, it's easier for me to take breaks. Sometimes things need to dry and I need to stop and not record. I don't want to record all the drying time. I find doing it all at one step, it's much harder, because if you get, there's always interruptions. Your kid wants something, the dog barks, things like that, and or the phone rings and you really need to stop for a second. So sometimes I stop in between. I literally leave the scene the way it is, and then come back to it in the exact same moment. So sometimes I don't even need a transition between the two of them. It goes directly. So yes, you could record directly, but I really find it easier when you record in pieces because it helps you with those interrupting times. That way you don't have to like then feel bad if you got a phone call and you have to stop and you get not, it saves a lot of like stress. Um, yeah, so again, like if you're recording, you can walk away, you can avoid things like drying times because you don't really want to show like the drying process. That saves you a lot of time, and it also people don't want to see you drying your project, not usually. If it's a long process, people just want to see your techniques, and you just can tell them that you've dried it, or show a few seconds of drying just to give it the idea that you actually dried. Sometimes I don't even actually turn on the heater. I just pretend I go with my heater like this and I dry, and I pretend to dry just to show people in my video that I've actually this step needs drying. Clean in between scenes, so between steps I clean my desk area, so then it's not like, like let's say I put black gesso, it looks really bad after the whole mat is with black gesso. So I clean in between scenes, since I find it really easy. You don't have to do this step, but I find it really good. So another thing is that even though you might have interruptions, the phone rings or whatever else, because you're doing it in steps, you can stop the recording, number one. But also, I do like silent movies with voice recording, voice-over recording. So that helps because you can just mute all the sounds after that. Again, keep unnecessary clutter like away from the camera. So you could have sometimes my room, if you look at it now, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's all cluttered. It's a mess. But right now when I'm recording, I'm not showing you my mess. I'm just showing you that everything is nice and neat around me. So that's something that you want to do in the videos too. It's really important. Also, make sure you stay inside the screen. So that's why I suggested that you should always have a screen in the camera, or if you're doing it directly from a webcam to the computer, then you just look at the computer. You see my computer is here on the side, the main computer. So I just constantly look at it to make sure that I'm in screen, that I'm in the camera, because sometimes you might move a little bit and then you're not in the shot. So it's really important to do that. And also it helps you to check that sometimes like things go out of focus, so you want to refocus the camera to make sure that, especially when you use a lot of white in the background, it kind of doesn't know where to focus, and so it needs something specific to focus on. So that's what I check my screen all the time to make sure that it's focused and that I'm inside the screen. Also, another good tip is to show your product name like right before you use it. So right before you're going to use the product, kind of hold it up to the screen, whatever it is, whatever product you're using. You can mention it if you're going to write it down, you could write down what the product it is, or you can show it as well. And that really helps like people to know what you're going to be using next. Because if you're not showing the product, then people get confused if you're using paint, are you using gesso, are you using embossing powder. Some things are very clear, but sometimes you don't know what the person is using or the name of it, and you really want to know, and you just don't have that information. Another thing is that it's a good idea when you're doing something very detailed, or you want to show some type of texture or color, raise the project to the camera, raise it as close as you can, wait till it focuses. It really helps the people see some of the details that you're doing, that you're explaining. So that really helps. I find I do this not often, but I do it every once in a while, especially in my Ustream shows, but in general, it's just really good to do that. Another thing is, mistakes happen. Sometimes you're recording and you make a mistake and you're like just flipping out that the mistake happened. But you know what? You can fix it, but show how you fixed it. Don't just erase and just go to the next screen, because people are not going to know. Because if that mistakes happen to them when they're trying to recreate the technique, then you're going to be they're going to be very frustrated because they don't know how to fix it. So mistakes happen, tell them, say it in when you're telling them, say, oh, oops, this is a mistake, but this is how I fixed it. And you show them how to fix it, what you could use, whether it's gesso, whatever it is. And that helps like people that are watching you, first of all, see that you're actually human, that is, that you make mistakes, but also shows them a new technique of how to fix mistakes even for the next time. Maybe they might not make a mistake this time, but they might make it in a different occasion. They might learn the technique on how to fix it. um, Another thing is, to avoid time sometimes, try the composition. Let's say you're making a layout. Try the composition outside of camera screen. Kind of put all of, let's say it's flowers or like embellishments. Try them out before you actually show them, because like you don't want to waste a lot of time kind of placing things. Oh no, you don't like it here, you don't like it there. Once you know where you like it, take a picture of it. And sometimes I keep my phone right beside me, and when I do the whole composition, and when I'm going to record, I only record putting on the different embellishments on by looking at the picture that is beside me on the phone. So that really helps in terms of like, you don't want to show, not wasting time trying to move the like the little embellishment around. And yeah, sometimes that might happen, and it's okay if it does, and it's fun to show the process. So if it's something that I really want to show a process of how to do, I will either explain it, like why I put certain flowers together or embellishments in that specific area, or what I'll do is I will actually show my train of thought. But most of the time, most people don't want to see where I put it. I mean, most of the time people want to see where I place the embellishment, not so much like what was I thinking before that. If I do have to do something to do with composition, whether it is the rule of threes or any type of like rule that helps the eye to focus things in the center, then I will definitely explain that in the video. Uh, Keep drying time to the minimal, meaning you don't have to show have you dried everything. People understand that you put paint or gesso on something. You just show that, you just pretend that you're actually just drying for a few minutes, and then dry them off screen, and then record the next step. It just really helps cutting down the amount of video and how long the video takes. I mean, of course, if you're doing a live one, you can't do that. But if you're recording in steps, then that's really important to just show certain things. And if something, let's say a step is too long, let's say you've put you need to paint a very large box. You don't need to show the whole process. You can paint the whole thing and then show the beginning and the end, and just show people how it ended, how it turned out, because they'll understand that you were just painting something simple, and you were doing it through you were doing the whole box together. Another thing, so what types of recordings there are? There's something called live recordings, or which are in real-time recordings. These are usually longer videos. Some people really like that. It's an interaction with the person that is doing the video. That's if it's a Ustream, or um, sometimes it's just people recording themselves doing a project. That one is live. Meaning you can't fix mistakes in that one, and that's okay, because sometimes the train of thought is really important for people to see how you're thinking about the project. I find music for those videos that are not live. Music is really, really important. Something calming. I like calming. Some people use something that is not calming. For me, calming music is really important. There's a lot of free music on YouTube, and a lot of free music that royalty free music on that you can search also as well. But in the creators in YouTube, in the creator section, there is free music. They're all different lengths and times, so you could add those and download them um, into your into your computer, and then add them to the video and edit them inside. Make sure that you give credit if credit is needed. Some places they don't ask you to give credit, but if they do, you have to put the name of the musician, or who in the website of where you took it from, in the description below the video. Another type of recording is the voiceover recording, which is really what I do now the most. I find that the easiest for me. I do a fast forward recording of 4 times the speed. I found that is best, but I do find that some steps need sometimes a bit of a slowdown, so I do slow it down to 2 times or 3 times the amount, and you can play around with that. And if it's like a really detailed work, you really want to slow it down so people could see it. But if it's something like just painting gesso on top of something else, then you could really do it 4 times, even sometimes 8 times or 6 times the amount, 5 times the amount, the speed. You do want to. I wouldn't suggest putting it too fast. I find that you lose a lot of like the specifics. in doing it. But what it helps, what with fast forwarding helps, is that it cuts down the amount of the length, how the length of the videos. So sometimes people don't have the patience to sit there and watch you for an hour. So that helps with just showing the steps quickly, and people just fast forwarding through the parts that, it fast forwards the parts that they might want to see. I really, as I said, I add relaxing music, and just so the silent part, so in between when I'm doing voice recording to each step, so I do a recording for each step, and I put, and then there's music in between, so you kind of hear the music all around, and I try to lower the volume of the music, so it's just kind of a background music, and it helps kind of calm the person down. I feel it. I try to pick really calming music. I do record each segment separately, and sometimes I need to do a few takes for the same segment because I get tongue tied, and then I just edit unwanted sounds. So sometimes clicking sounds appear, so I can just edit those, and that's easy enough. Some people record voiceover and they do over the whole video. I find that really hard because I make a lot of mistakes when I talk. So I prefer like recording myself a few times, and because I need to really think about what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm trying to think how to say the next step. So I really stop the recording and then record it again, and it just it flows because you're adding it above each segment, so it works really well. And it also saves me from saying the word a lot, because I have to, I'm thinking, so I have to say that a lot. um so so I find that sorry so I used to put like written explanations, explicit written explanations, or just with music. So, for example, I fast forward the video, then I would put music with it, and then I would write the explanations. But I found this, first of all, much more time consuming than talking, as it takes a longer time to type. But sometimes I didn't have enough space to explain a technique and say their products all at once. And I found that there was sometimes too much explanation. I want to give some inside tips, and that's really hard to explain when you're writing things down. So I started doing voiceovers halfway through my video recordings. I mean, when I started, I think I started about 4 or 5 years ago. So about 2 years ago, I started doing voiceovers. I also see people doing, like, they do fast forward with music and no explanations. For me, it's easy to follow them because I know the techniques and I know the different products. But I find that for somebody who's a beginner and is not familiar with the products, that might not be as helpful, because they might not know what you're using and they'll get confused and they won't be able to recreate the steps. So if you're teaching a technique, I think it's best to explain, or at least the minimum that people do is sometimes they do fast forward with music, but they only put the product info, the name or what it is. So either they put Gesso or they put Gesso with the actual brand. So that's informative. At least you know what you're using, what steps you're using. But yes, there's no explanations, but at least you know what to use. I find the written explanations are really good for somebody who English is not their first language. So if you can use that instead, or just putting product explanations or names, that's good for for people that cannot express themselves well in English. I mean, most of the videos, right? I mean, they don't have to be in English, but most people watch their videos in English. I actually just started on my own YouTube channel in Spanish because I want to kind of also gear myself into that community as well, because there's not a lot of videos that can help, but I know people do videos in Polish and in Russian, so there is lots out there that that in other languages. So, but if you are going to do it in English and your English is not your first language and it's hard for you to kind of express yourself in that, then yes, do written explanations or just product explanations, just to kind of give the names is really important. Another thing is that you can add still photos to the editing. You should take good pictures of your project, and then add them either at the beginning, at the end, or both. So you can show close-ups of your project in good lighting, because sometimes the lighting is not as good when you're doing a video. So it's better to do it when you're having it with still photos. You could also add the logo of the company you're designing for, if that's something that you're doing a video for. And also you can there's something called cards and annotations in YouTube itself, and that's something where you can add links to other YouTube videos or links to add to your blog, or you could add like specific information that you want to relate to the people, like to the people that are watching. For example, like saying that you have links underneath the description area. So the cards and annotations, another setting that YouTube has. So there's a lot of little things that you can always add and enhance your video and make it look very professional. Regarding products, it's really important that after that you put the product names and links underneath in the basically in the video description. You don't have to do this, but it really helps the person that is watching your video connect more and be able to kind of look at what you're using, and and understand which products went, like which products were used. Some people do affiliate links, like that's something that I started doing recently, and that also helps, because people then know where to buy them. So you put them links, you can either put links directly to a store, or you could put the links directly to the manufacturer. Either way, it works well. Another good thing to do is link your videos to other similar videos or techniques, either yours or somebody else's. Link videos and share them in all social media. Link your social media. It's really important. The more you link it, the more people are going to watch your videos, and share them in social media, especially in Facebook. That's a big one. And directly, right from YouTube, you can share directly onto most social medias except for Instagram. And the other thing that you can do is you can embed these videos in your blog, and that's a different thing. There is an embedding code underneath. If you see if you've pressed the share button, underneath the share button there's an embedding code, and then you can go directly to your HTML excuse me, HTML section on your blog, and you just put that embedding code in there. The last thing is make sure that you tag any manufacturer that you use. It helps you, first of all, it helps them see your work, which is what, if you see my other video about challenges and design team calls, which I'm linking here too, tagging manufacturers or tagging a place where you got inspired, whether it is a person or a mood board or some kind of challenge or the manufacturer itself, it really helps you kind of get like like people get a exposure of who you are and your type of style, and that really helps a lot. And one of the other things is also include an introduction to your video in a bio, or encourage people to subscribe to your videos, encourage people to visit other videos or other people's YouTube channels. So it's really important that you share, I share yours, you share mine, type of thing, and it really helps. And most importantly, respond to comments. When people go out of the way and leave comments for you, respond to them, especially if they have questions about a certain technique, or what if they need more clarification or explanation. That's really, really important, because it engages with your audience. So that's something that is really important to do as well. So one more important thing, and that is when you're done editing your video, and that is you have to play on your own and figure out your own settings for each of your software. Once you're done, then you can usually directly upload it to YouTube or Vimeo, whichever platform you're going to use. YouTube is the one I use, but it doesn't have to be. So if you're going to upload them to YouTube, you can do it either directly from the program, the software program, or you can download them first onto your computer and then upload them. One of the important things that when you're doing that, and if you don't want people to see it, is that put the actual like video unlisted. So that would mean that you could still share it with people. So let's say you're putting it on your blog, and the day that the blog post goes on, you can actually, the people will be able to see it even though it's unlisted, and then you just go onto your YouTube and you press and you publish it. So that really helps if you don't want to, if you have a scheduled like post, then you don't want to show it ahead of time. So in that sense, unlisted is the best option. Private is a little bit different, so this is why I really recommend that you do it unlisted. Another thing is that you could schedule it, and that's an option that it gives you, but only schedule it for a specific time, so or day. So once you've already done it unlisted, you cannot schedule it for another day. One more thing is play around with the YouTube settings. There's many YouTube settings that are really helpful for you. For number one, monetizing your videos, where ads will come up in before a video. So you could actually turn that on and off depending if you want that or not. I have mine on because it does give me a little bit of an extra income. But if you hate commercials, then go ahead and turn them off. There's different types of settings. So for example, let's say you don't want people to see your people see comments, or you want to don't want people to see how many people liked your video, or when you're just starting. And if that's something that you could turn all those settings on and off. Email settings, if you want to receive email settings when emails whenever somebody subscribes or somebody leaves a comment, that's something, like any settings, you can check all those out. So I've had times where I've had comments but people have left that are not just the nicest comments that could be, and I've had to, in some videos, turn off the amount of I've had to delete comments sometimes, and sometimes people not liking my video. I work a lot very hard for my videos, so I find it hurts my feelings, I guess, when somebody dislikes it for no reason, and it's really easy to hide behind the screen. You will find that a lot of people might not leave nice comments, or might not like what you do, but just continue doing it. Don't worry about what others think, but you can change your settings so they cannot see, so nobody can see whether somebody liked it or not. So that there's like a lot of features on YouTube that are really helpful especially for beginners, but even for somebody like me, who I'm still consider myself a beginner. I don't feel like I'm in any shape or form like have enough subscribers to not feel like a beginner, but I just feel that it's really important that you get encouraged to continue on trying. So don't get discouraged. Just continue trying, because you really find that the more you do videos, the shorter it takes you to do them. Video recording and making is very time consuming, but as you do them more often, the time that it takes you to do them will shorten up. You do need for like uploading, you probably need a fast internet connection, but most of the time it should work. Oh, another thing, make sure that on your YouTube settings, you go and you enable the YouTube channel that you'll be able to record, you will to upload videos that are longer than 15 minutes, because otherwise it only allows you to record videos that are 15 minutes. And please, I encourage you, if you have any questions, please email me or ask me. I don't have a problem on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook, or you can email me in my email, and my email is listed on my blog. And I have all the links below here of all my social media, so you need to find me in anywhere. You can ask me questions, or you can just ask in the comments, and I can share my email address and you can ask me those questions. So please, I encourage you to continue trying, especially if you want to start making videos. It's really fun. And if you have some techniques that you want to show the world, and I really believe that this is the right path for you, so go ahead and start up videos. And when you make your first video, please share it with me. Tag me so I know that you've made it, and I'll start following you. Please follow me as well. It's really important for me to have subscribers, and to know that people get inspired and also are able to see what I'm talking about, and that I was able to help somebody in the process. So, I mean, I hope I covered everything today. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. I will try to come up with more ideas. I have one more in mind that somebody asked me to do, so this is something that I will continue doing. Thank you so much, and see you again. Bye.